I failed for 2 years to make any kind of serious money online. And now I make over $30,000 a month with my info marketing agency, where we help info products and coaching programs scale using webinars and call funnels. We basically do done for you marketing services. But in this video, I want to walk you through six things, six kind of frameworks. Some are actionable, some are more mental, that I learned after failing for 2 years and then finally being able to make serious money. And now we're like now I'm like 3, 4 years into the game. But the first 2 years were long, were hard. And the whole time I was expecting to make 10K a month next month. Because that's the thing, right? In this space, we think that, okay, 10K a month is the epitome. Now 10K a month feels very, very small. But we spend a lot of time thinking, okay, I'm going to make it, but I don't know how. And you try, you don't. And then 99% of people quit and 99% of people fail. And that's really the point I want to make behind this video. Because I make these videos for a couple of reasons. The first reason is to teach lessons to my earlier self, because I feel like those are the people that can help the most. The second is to make more connections in this space and build a network of friends who are in the online business space and crushing it and doing well. And then the third is to attract high level talent to be able to join my company. So let's get into this with number one, because this video is really more so for my younger self. And for those of you who are earlier in the game, let's say in your first year or two, or you're still, between 0 and 10K a month, or, any kind of consistent money online. Number one is, for the love of God, please just stay in the game. Of these 6 lessons, this is the easiest. Well, this is the hardest one, but it's the simplest one, which is simply to say, whatever you do not quit. I don't care what happens to you. I don't know. I don't care what challenges you come through. You cannot quit. You must stay in the game at all costs, because the only way you can lose in business is if you quit. That is the only way. That's a quote from Hormozy. Is the only way to lose in business is if you quit. If you don't quit and you can keep the lights on, then you're good. If you're working a job that you don't like and you're building a business on the side, don't quit the business on the side. Don't say it's not for me. Don't say they're lying, they're faking online. Because that's the mentality. That's the victim mentality of like, oh no, everyone's just a scam. Everyone's posing. It's not true. I'm making decent money. This is kind of brokey for online, but I'm making decent money. There are people making a whole lot more. I have friends who are 17, 18, 19, making 200K, 300K a month. We're going to get to that very soon, but it's very possible. Okay. So stay in the game. Why? Because the longer you stay in the game, the longer you just start, you keep shooting shots, the more opportunities that will come to you. A lot of the opportunities that I came through were simply just because I stayed in the game long enough. I initially started trying to make money online with a marketing agency, which went very, very badly because I didn't know what I was doing and I didn't have a proven system to follow. I ended up quitting that because I got so frustrated at the lack of progress that I said, it's not worth me doing this. Let me try and just be a regular college kid. I did that. I hated it. It was depressing. I was bored. I hated every second of being a normal college kid. And I was terrified of the path of going corporate, which my parents wanted me to do, which was to go down the investment banking finance route, which is, a decent route, but you just slave away for 20 years before you make any serious money. And I didn't like the idea of people telling me what to do. I had a trouble with authority, if you will, ever since the age of maybe 15, 16, where I started to realize I was maturing faster than the other 15, 16-year-olds. And I was like, I don't like teachers telling me what to do. I feel like I'm a pretty sensible person. It doesn't make sense that they're getting angry at me for, like, for example, facial hair. Like, I had a teacher scream at me for having facial hair when he had a beard himself, because it was a rule at our school. Like, you had to be clean shaven. And he screamed at me and he was like, if you don't shave that beard off by tomorrow, you won't be coming back. And I looked at him and I was like, but sir, because we call them sir here in the UK, but sir, you have a beard. And then he lost his mind, went red, started screaming at me. So I had trouble with authority around that time, and that kind of shaped me to be really terrified of having a boss that could tell me where to be and where to go, and not being in control of my own life and my own kind of destiny. The second thing that scared me about that was COVID. Around COVID, I realized that people were forced to get the vaccine. People were forced to do things they did not want to do to keep their job. And I never wanted to be in that position. I wanted to be the kind of maker of my own reality, if you will, right? So the first thing is I was in college. I quit for a while, and then I was forced to get an internship in finance because then that was the route, and I wasn't going to be a failure. So I was like, okay, mom and dad, I'll get an internship. Got an internship, hated it so much that I was like, I need to get out of this. And I always had the itch for the 4 month that I kind of took out of the game, that I need to get back in the game. I need to try to build a side hustle. I need to try and do something. And so I was like, what am I good at? Let me stop kind of selling something I'm not good at, which was marketing. I had no idea what I was doing at the time. And I was like, I'm really good at fitness. And for some reason, I seem to know more than most people because I just nerd out about it. All right, let's teach fitness. Did that. Started making a bit of money teaching fitness. Then I was like, okay, how can I sell more high ticket instead of just doing really cheap fitness memberships? And I was like, okay, let me start doing performance and health coaching and optimization for business owners. Because I was like, let me try and work with a higher level of clientele. That's when I got my first big client. My first high ticket sale online was a 3.5k USD sale for 3 months of coaching. It was huge. It was insane. And part of the reason I did that was because I was working this job in finance, and I hated my life so much that I took all the money that I made from that internship, which I swore I would save to my parents, and I invested it in a coaching program. It was about $6,000. And I invested it in a coaching program, which was 8 grand. Was it the best coaching program in the world? No, probably not. But what I will say is that it got me to light a fire under me, which set the ball rolling. And I went through with that, got my first client, and then my life changed. When I got that first high ticket sale, my life completely changed. I tasted what it is to make a little bit of money, and I said, that's it. I can do this. There's a way to do this. Struggled with that business for a long time because the offer, in my opinion, wasn't that good of an offer. It wasn't an offer that I felt people needed, or rather, it was something that they needed, but it wasn't an offer that people wanted. And that was a problem. But I only figured that out by being in the game long enough, right? Um, it was one of those offers, the health and performance, where I feel like I didn't really, I believed in it initially, and then I started to not believe in it so much at the end. And I realized it was more of a nice to have more than a need to have, because I realized that killers, like entrepreneurs and killers who are going to succeed whether you have them sleep a certain amount or not, whether they do a cold shower or not, whether you put them on certain supplements or not. They are going to succeed regardless. And there wasn't as many people in the market that had such a big pain point that made it a highly repeatable offer that could scale far. Either way, that year of business was very hard. It was very up and down. So I made 10K a couple times, but some months I would make no money at all. And that was very difficult. I struggled with that because it was my last year of college. And I was like, if I don't make this work by the end of college, I'm screwed. I have to get a job. I come out of college, I tell my parents, just give me 6 months. Just give me 6 months to figure this out, and I'll get a job or something. 6 months went by, and I wouldn't say I figured it out, but I was making okay amount of money. Like I was making between 2 and like 10K a month, which is a very big range, and it was very unreliable. But I was making enough money to be able to kind of be okay, and to tell my parents like, this is okay, this is working, like let me really have a good crack at this before I either go do a master's or go to college, or go get a job. So I did that, and then I stayed in the game, stayed in the game, stayed in the game. And through that, I got these clients, and these clients taught me lessons about marketing, about the different businesses they were in. And they were all making 100, 200K a month. And I got these people as friends because I was just in the game, right? These people became my friends. These people started to introduce me in different opportunities. For example, earlier on in that business, one of my first clients got me to make course modules for him for his entire course, which ended up being one of the biggest courses in the space. And it got me in front of loads of people. That was amazing. Like I owe so much to that guy. And that was transformational. And that was just because I was in the game and I said yes to every opportunity that came my way. It was like, do I want to fly out to Sweden and do this? Oh my God, I don't really know this guy. Yes, screw it. I'm going to go. I've never been to Sweden. Let's go. Let's do it. And that was fantastic. That was a fantastic experience for me. And he later involved me in other projects, which got me in front of more people. And that was the same for other clients. I would do things for them and they would put me in front of their people. And just because I was in the game, I took opportunities. I sent reach out messages to these people that, I could have easily said, oh, these people aren't going to reply to me. These people aren't going to sign. But I just tried. And even though it wasn't the best vehicle, even though I didn't make that much money, I made a good amount of money, just like from what I deemed to be a good, much money. It was being in the game and having those opportunities and meeting those people was the biggest thing, which comes on to the next thing, which is just like learning by osmosis. And that leads on to how I was now, or where I am now. Because of that, I learned a lot about my clients' businesses. And I'm starting to understand that, for example, the marketing side of things wasn't all that difficult. And I had at the back of my head, because I loved the sales side of the coaching business. I didn't really love the delivery side. And I had in the back of my head of like, I want to sell an offer that helps people make money. And I had been looking for an out, looking for a reason to just rebrand and rechange the whole business. And then I finally got it, which is that one of my best friends now and my business partner, Jacob, came to me and he was like, there's this old client of mine who has email marketing, who I did email marketing for, who has a community on School and needs help because his team right now are screwing up the job. But there's a problem. I don't know how to do this. What do you think I should do? I said, bro, call him right now. Let's partner up on this 50-50 and let's do it together. Because that had been the opportunity that I was waiting for. It wasn't in a niche that I liked. I wasn't fully sure of what I was doing, but I just knew that it's an opportunity. It came my way and I was going to take it. Because I had a quote from Tucker Carlson where he said, it changed the way I view things. He just said, just say yes more, just do more. If there's a fun thing, there's a fun adventure, go do it. Say yes. If there's a job that you don't really know how you're going to do it, say yes, do it. Have kids, get married, just do stuff. And I said, okay, I'm going to do it. And I did it. And it changed the course of my life. Very quickly, we won the School games that month, the first month in business. We won the School games. I met Alex Hormozi. I met Sam Evans, met a bunch of really cool people at School, got close to the School people. Andrew Kirby as well, shout out him. And that kind of started to get us a bit on the map, right? Started to make connections, started to go to masterminds. We started making 10K, 15K a month consistently from that business. And that was a launching, and I had that on top of my coaching business. So I was making decent money at this point. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. And I love the making money side of things, of like making other people money. And I said, this is an amazing business. I love this. And so we just doubled down. And now we've been able to scale that and we make, relatively consistently, or we make consistently around 30K a month, which is great. Sometimes more, sometimes a bit less, but it's fantastic. And now we're taking the steps to scale up. But the point is this: if I had quit back in 2021 or 2022 or 2023, like any of these times, if I had quit, I'd be screwed. I'd be screwed. I spent the whole of 2021 doing outreach for my marketing agency, didn't see any results. I got one client for $800 that I had to refund because I messed up the job so bad. If I had not joined the sales calls at the end of 2020 when I was terrified, I was literally panic attack state to get on sales calls that I had booked. If I had said no and didn't get on those calls, I wouldn't be where I am today. If I hadn't continued and stayed in the game and came back to the game after I quit, after I had that internship, and if I just surrendered to the finance route, I wouldn't be where I am today. So just stay in the game. If you know that this is something you want to do, if you know that there are people out there who are younger than you, making more money than you, who are free, doing wherever they want, you can do that too. Just stay in the freaking game. Just stay in the game. Do not quit. Even if you're not seeing results, just don't quit. Keep taking actions. I cannot say that enough. This is so important. Just stay in the game. Number 2, understanding the simplicity of the game. Business, at least to get to 10K, 20K, 30K a month, is really simple. It's really, really, really simple. You just have to sell one thing to one person for a high price. That's it. So how do you do that? There's only 4 things you can sell, really, that are worth selling. The first is something that makes people more money. The second is something that helps people improve their appearance. So something that makes people more money. Sales, marketing, lead generation, email marketing, whatever. Improves their appearance. Think about it. What are the things that people spend money on? Clothes, fitness, because they lose weight, gain muscle, makes them look better. Plastic surgery, makes them look better. Skincare, makes them look better. Yeah, those are the main ones. Things that make people look better. Second is pain, solving a physical pain, back pain, knee pain, joint pain, chronic headaches, migraines, whatever. Those things are a specific pain. So money, appearance, pain, physical pain, and relationships, saving marriages, getting relationships, increasing confidence. Because effectively, these are the only three things that people care about. They care about making more money because money is the value. Money is effectively the thing that determines significance and value in the modern day and age. It used to be gold, it used to be food, it used to be resources. Now it's money. If you have money, you have access to the world. You have access to life. It's kind of a fucked up system, but it works really well. If you have money, you have access to experiences. And people want freedom. So money is that. Second is because it makes them feel good. Second is appearance. They look good, they feel good, right? People don't want to be ugly. People don't want to be undesirable. People want to be wanted. Appearance helps them get that. Pain. People don't want to be in pain. Okay? That's an easy one. And second is relationships. People don't want to be alone. So all of these go down to some kind of big block, foundational level, psychological need, psychological pain, psychological point of insecurity for people. And if you can solve that, you'll make people money. If you can make people more money, you solve that kind of desire of survival. If you solve people the appearance, you remove that pain of insecurity. Physical pain, you remove the physical pain, and then you remove the pain of loneliness with the last one. Okay? The fourth thing is sell one thing to one person. Okay? Very simple. I kind of mentioned it before. But you pick one of these things that you have some kind of skill in. And if you don't have a skill, just go on YouTube and watch. Watch tutorials on how to write copy and make people money with email marketing, or watch how to run paid ads. Learn a skill that is valuable to people, and then sell one thing to one person. For example, you probably shouldn't be a 19-year-old relationship coach, but you can be a 19-year-old fitness coach. If you're in really good shape and you figured out how to lose weight for yourself, you can do that. You can be you could be whatever and learn how to copyright, learn how to run paid ads, learn how to do sales, learn how to do appointment setting, set up. Like, there's loads of skills that you can learn there. Pick one and then sell one thing to one person. If you want, do your first couple of jobs for free. That way you can get experience and you can get testimonials. This will make it a lot easier. If I were to start from scratch, I would probably start for free or on some kind of like a pay per performance basis. And I would say, listen, I'm going to do this for you for free. And if you like it, all I ask in return as payment is a testimonial, is a review. So that way, because proof is way more valuable than any kind of promise you can make someone. So if you can generate proof, testimonials, that is worth more to you than any kind of money that first client will pay you. And you will be able to learn on the job. So you'll learn on the job, you'll get a testimonial, and then you can use that testimonial to advertise to people. And you can say, I helped this guy do this, I can help you do the same. Sell one thing to one person. So pick one skill in this, craft an offer around it, and just sell it to one type of person. Whether it's info businesses, whether it's med spas, whether it's entrepreneurs, whether, be more specific even. It depends on the thing. But if it's like a B2B thing, so if you're selling a skill that makes people money, be very specific about the avatar that you help. To get to 10, 20, 30K a month, you can do it in any market. If it's about like B2C of like fitness or pain or whatever, niche down in terms of like male entrepreneurs or, postmenopausal women, for example. Be very specific over the type of person that you help, because this will help your marketing resonate, and people will buy at a much higher percentage because they can resonate with what you're saying, because they know that your solution is for them specifically. So that's number 4. Sell one thing to one person. So at this point, you're staying in the game. You're understanding the game is very simple. You only need to sell a few things for a few $1,000s. You're making decent money. And you also understand you have to sell one thing to one person that is in these categories. And then, number 5, the money is in the model. Here's what I mean by this. This one took me a while to understand. Now we have clients that pay us hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. Okay? Last year from one client, we made over 250 grand. Nuts, right? Because the money is in the model. We make him a certain amount of money, and from the amount of money that we make him, we get a very good chunk. That is the model. The model is we have a rev share business where we make people a lot of money and they give us a portion of the money that we make them. If I had just sold, let's say, the same service that I sell to this client or these clients, sell them for 2K a month retainers, I'll still probably end up doing all the same work, but at the end, I get 24K out of it over the year, as opposed to 250K. So understand that the money is in the model. The more you charge, the more you'll make, obviously. And if you charge for something good and you're actually good at something and you can prove that you get results, then you'll make a lot of money. But don't be silly. Don't sell like $300 consulting. Don't sell like $12 info products unless you have a very good plan for scaling them up. Sell high ticket. Start free and then sell high ticket. And then sell things, if you're going to find a model that's going to allow you to have people pay you recurring over a long period of time. For example, only, how can I put this? Instead of selling, let's say, my old fitness business, for example, it was a 3K package for 3 months. They pay up front and then nothing after that. What would probably be a better model is probably to pay with an upfront commitment, but then with a commitment to carry on after on a recurring basis, so I can make more money from each client. In the marketing business, money's in the model. If you make people a lot of money, if you make people $1 million, take 10% of that, you'll make 100 grand. And people will be happy to pay you. You'd be surprised. But it's all about how you present your own model and your own offer. So be in a good vehicle where you can make people a lot of money if it's going to be a money one, and then be in a good vehicle and make sure that your model allows you to be compensated well. And then lastly, focus on revenue generating activities every single day. The only thing that matters in business until you get to 10K a month, the only thing that matters, and I cannot be more bullish about this, is focus on revenue generating activities every single day. What does that mean? That means focus on outreach and getting people to find out about your stuff. How do you make money? You tell people that you exist. You tell people that you have something that can help them. If you're not doing that every single day, if you're not doing outreach, you're not making content, you're not posting ads, how do you expect to grow? No one's going to find out about your stuff, and that's expected, right? The other thing is if you make, obviously help your clients make money, but never let delivery on your service outshadow or occupy all your time against getting people to find out about your stuff. So important. So every single day, if you don't have the money that you want, you have to get people to find out about your stuff. You have to DM people, you have to email people, you have to send video pictures, you have to reach out, cold call, whatever it is that you're in, make content, and do as much of that as possible. 4 hours a day, preferably. Get people to find out about your stuff, and you'll succeed. If you stay in the game, if you understand how simple the game truly is, if you understand the only things that you actually can sell to make money, if you can understand that you have to focus on selling one thing to one person, don't continuously switch. Okay? Don't continuously switch from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. Focus on one thing and make it work. If you can understand the money is in the model, and you can understand that you have to focus on revenue generating activities every single day, and you can also understand that there are other people in your market who are making money, then why can't you? So don't quit. Okay? Simple as that. These are the 6 things. I failed for 2 years. Now I make 30K a month. I know better. Hopefully you know now too. Hopefully this was helpful. If you are an info business and or you just want consulting and you want to speak to me and find out how I can help you make more money, click a link below. You can book a call with me directly on my calendar. And other than that, I hope you have a good one. Speak soon. We will take care. Oh, you take care. Bye-bye.